Hey everyone, Johnny here, back with another draw along. Today we got this cute turtle we're gonna draw. So all you're gonna need is a pencil, an eraser, and a piece of paper. You'll be good to go. Okay, so let's dive in. We're gonna start off with the block in, as we usually do, meaning we're gonna draw very lightly the big shapes and forms of this turtle. And that's gonna give us an idea of how the overall shape and look. And it's also going to help us find the right placement on the paper so your drawing's not falling off to one side or even falling off the paper. Okay, so we're going to start with this flat curve here, the shell. And then we're going to curve, we're going to make a big curve going all the way up. Don't worry if your curve is not so perfectly symmetrical or even on both sides. What you really want to focus on right now is making sure you're drawing very softly and lightly. You want to barely be able to see these lines that we're making right now. So we got the shell. Now the head is going to be off to the side here, and we're just going to draw an oval shape. Okay. So shell, head, and now the legs and feet. So these feet are just going to be kind of rectangle shapes going down, but you want them to be pretty short. I'm going to start with this leg, and then I'm actually going to draw a guide all the way through here like this. This is just to help make sure that the legs are evenly length and they're hitting the ground at the same spot, right? So if this guideline, you think of it as a ground, okay, and the bottom of the foot, I'm not going straight across, I'm putting a little curve in there. And same thing for this leg. So with this drawing, we're going to practice something called overlap with the legs. All that means is these two legs are the ones that are closest to us, and they're going to be overlapping these legs back here, which are further away. So you're not seeing fully these back legs because of that overlap that we were talking about, right? The front legs here overlap the back legs. Okay, so we got most of our basic shapes in place. Let's put the neck in just so we have an idea of how the neck is going. I'm going to find about halfway from the top and bottom of this oval. About halfway would be here. And that's where I'm going to start the neck, going back here into the shell. And then I'm going to find the bottom of the chin and just go straight across, again, connecting to the shell. And then here, this is the space where the neck plugs into the shell. So how I'm going to show that is I'm going to make a curve connecting these two necklines. Okay. All right, so let's start layering on the details now that we have our block in all set. The face, I'm going to draw a midline, but because the character's turned to the side, the midline is not going to go right down the center of the oval. It's going to look more like this. turn to the side. Okay. So there's a vertical midline here, and then I'm also going to put a horizontal midline going across. So from there, I'm going to find where these midlines intersect. And then I'm going to draw the snout of the mouth. Just making a curve going out this. Once you got the snout in, from there, you could draw the smile in the mouth. Notice I'm drawing a little darker now that we're past the block-in stage. Block-in or lay-in, you could call it either one. Okay, so we got the snout, the mouth in place. Now the eyes, we're gonna be overlapping again, practicing that overlapping idea. So I'm gonna start with this eye here, the one that's closest to us. And again, I'm starting where these two midlines cross, and I'm just gonna make a big circle here for the eyes. I think with the eyes here, the bigger the better. So I'm going very lightly first just to make sure I get the eye the right shape and size that I want. And then I think that looks okay. So I'm going to darken it up now. All right. So there's actually three things that are overlapping here. We have the eye that's closest to us, and that's overlapping the mouth here. And then this is going to be overlapping the other eye as well. So we're going to start back here, tuck this eye behind the first one we drew, and we're going up and around. Okay. Now for the pupils, we're going to keep it nice and simple. We're not going to draw it right in the middle here because we want the look that the turtle is looking straight at us. So what we're going to do is put it off to the side a little bit here. And we're going to put an oval right in here. We're going to add a highlight. Just a simple small circle there. And then we can go ahead and shade in that pupil, making sure that we avoid the highlight because the highlight is the brightest part of the drawing and we want to keep that completely white. Same thing for this eye. Okay. So now that we have all the features of the face in place, I'm gonna darken up the lines for the head shape, but I'm gonna make a couple of adjustments because I feel like head on this one is a little too narrow, too skinny. So first I'm gonna do the chin, and I'm gonna darken it up here. And when I get to the neck, I'm just gonna smooth out this corner here. So there was a sharp corner there, but if you add a little curve to it like that, it's gonna smoothen it out just a little bit. Okay. Oh, almost forgot the eyebrows. So the eyebrows, we're just adding a curve here and then a curve here. So as I said, I feel like the head is too narrow. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna widen it just a little bit. So on this edge, I'm just following that original oval that we drew. But as I get to the other side of the head, I'm gonna go a little bit further past that guide. Okay. For your drawing, if you feel like your head is already at a good size and shape, you don't have to make this adjustment. That choice is up to you as the artist of your own drawing. You get to be in control. Okay. Got the head done. Just let me get rid of these guidelines we don't need anymore so you could see it better. Maybe I'll darken these lines up too. Just a bit. Okay, let's get into the shell. So we're gonna make a couple different layers of the shell and then add some details. How we're gonna start is here at the back of the neck, we're gonna add an extra curve like this. And then we're gonna follow all the way through to the other side of the shell. This curve, I'm trying to match the curve here that we drew at the start. All the way to the other side. And then from there, I'm gonna find where this line meets the edge of the shell, add a curve going out this way. Okay. Just meeting the bottom line that we drew in the first place. Then I'm gonna darken this up. Okay. And this one too. All right. And now for the details here. We're gonna draw these lines going down all the way through. You could space them as far as you like. What you do want to try to make sure of though is that I'm not touching these lines to the top and bottom here. I'm leaving a little bit of space. You might also notice that as they go across the shell, they're changing directions a little bit. So these ones are leaning more this way. And then as I get to the other side, the angle that they're leaning changes. Okay. So we got all these lines going across. Now here on the bottom, we're going to draw some more lines going this way. And again, make sure you don't connect them. Or if you want to connect, see how it looks, feel free to do that too. Okay. I'm going to darken this shell up here on top. So to get these shapes, it looks a bit complicated, but I'm going to try to make it simple for you guys. We're going to start here, and we're going to draw a line going down with a little bit of a curve to it. You want to stop about halfway from the top and bottom of the shell. That's about the halfway point. And then we're going to do another one on this side, but we're going to curve it in the opposite direction. So down like so. And then from there, we're going to connect these 2 points with another curve like that. Okay. And then I'm going to find this point again, and then draw another curve going out to the edge of the shell. And then the same on the side. Okay, now we have the top layer of the shell done. For the bottom, very simple. We're just gonna, again, find this point and then draw a curve going down this way. And then we're going to do another one here. Go down. And then here on this one, we're going to curve in the other way. Just like that. All right. We're almost there. We have one more layer of shell here. So this is the under part of the shell, like the belly. We're going to start here under the neck, and we're going to bring this line through. This shell is overlapping the legs that are back there. So this little bit of leg here that it's covering up, we're going to end up erasing that. That's why we draw really lightly to start off with, right? Because along the way, we're making a lot of adjustments and corrections. And if you draw lightly, then it's just going to be easier to make those corrections when it comes time to erase. Okay, so we got that shell in. Let me show you what I mean. There you go. See, nice and easy. Now we have in front the leg, in the middle is the shell, and then all the way back are the back legs here. Okay, so I'm going to darken these legs up. And for the toes, it's very simple. All we need to do is for these front legs, we're going to do 3 curves like this. 1, 2, and 3. Same with this front leg. Okay. For these back legs, it's going to be a little bit different because they're turned at another angle. So we're not going to be seeing all 3 of these toes, more like 1.5. So we'll go on the edge and just draw half of a curve. And then here, we'll draw the next curve. Then on this foot as well. So just half. And then 1 like that. Last thing we need to include is the tail. So all we need to do is go here behind the leg, so curve that way, and then close it off. Okay. So we have everything in place, but before we call it done, as we usually do, we're going to take a moment to make these last refinements and just make sure everything is nice and clean and how you want it. So I'm going to get rid of some of these guidelines that we drew. I don't feel like the drawing needs those to be seen. And then I'm just going to darken up a few lines here, mostly the lines on the outside of the figure. With this style of drawing and a character like this, I feel if you darken up the outside lines and keep the details inside fairly thin, then it gives you a nice view, a nice silhouette of the actual character shape. Okay. Here too. And remember, since we're drawing with only lines, to make it look a little bit more interesting, you could put variety in how your lines are. So you could do thick lines like here on the outside. You could do thin, sharp lines like these details here. You could even do really light lines. Like maybe I will draw the ground here instead of this line that we drew. Instead of just being the guideline, I can make it the ground. But if I don't want the ground to stand out too much, I'm going to keep these lines pretty light. There we go. And just darken up this last part here. And we are done. So there's your cute turtle drawing. Thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Bye.